Support for Another Round comes from August, a new kind of consulting company that helps organizations realize their potential to make a meaningful dent in the world. Interested in doing this work? Drop them a line today at www.aug.co/anotherround. That's aug.co/anotherround.
Hi, everyone. I'm Heben.
I'm Tracy.
And welcome to Another Round with Heben and Tracy.
Hey. I was going to try to do the penguin air horn, but nobody but a penguin can do that, so.
I'm glad you resisted.
Same. So, everybody, we have a very, very exciting announcement. We are going on the road to do a live show at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God. The crowd goes crazy. Where any word said.
The show's going to be on April 14th, and it's free, but you have to RSVP beforehand. For the link to RSVP, keep an eye on our Twitter feed at Another Round, and come and see us, Michigan.
Hey. What's going on today, Tracy? What we got?
So we've had too many men in the studio.
Oh my God.
Too many men.
Preponderance.
Too many men. Yeah, it wasn't on purpose. Sometimes you just get to booking people and then you're like, hey, these are all dudes.
Yeah.
But we fuck it up. Sausage fest in here.
So today we're talking to our friend / coworker, Bim Adewunmi. If you follow her on Twitter, you know she is the queen of Poppingtown. I'm sorry. She's really great and doesn't deserve that intro.
The queen of Poppingtown?
I was reaching and it did not work, okay?
Heben, as your friend, I support you when you're right and when you're wrong. I'm just here to hug you when you fall. It's okay.
Bim is the best writer and we're so excited to talk to her.
She's so fun and so funny.
And also we are reading a few of Tracy's tweets.
So these are a bunch of tweets that I found by going to Twitter and searching all of my tweets for the phrase "what if," and these are things that popped up.
This is a new segment we like to call Questions Inside Tracy's Head.
I'm excited.
All right, let's get into it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tracy's What If Tweets. That's not what we decided to call it. Welcome to...
That was literally a second ago.
Welcome to Things Inside My Head.
Questions from Tracy's Head.
Questions from Tracy's Head.
If you guys can't tell, sometimes we name segments on the spot.
We got through that one together, though.
All right. What are some questions you've had?
This is actually a thought that I have a lot because sometimes I feel like it applies to me and I don't know why. What if someone smelled like feet, but their actual feet smelled fine?
What? Why do you think about that frequently?
Okay, because sometimes I feel like my hands smell like feet. And I'm just like, what have I been doing? Like when I wake up, just like my hands just kind of smell like feet.
Tracy,
not like,
I'm so concerned for you.
Not like bad smelling, but it's feet. It's like feet smell. My actual feet, though, fine. Petunias. I don't know. I don't get it.
Petunias?
Yeah.
I don't understand, but I'm going to keep it moving.
I appreciate you. I do. What if somebody... What if somebody had fingers growing out of their elbows and they asked you for a high five?
No.
You wouldn't do it?
Absolutely not.
Have it if I had fingers growing out of my elbows and I was like, can you just affirm
I'm
me
not
on
a
this
high
day?
fiver.
You know what?
But maybe I'd pound with that extra finger situation.
That's fair. I feel like I'm learning so much about you. What if we had opposable nipples and they moved whenever they wanted to?
No.
Let's
That's so distracting.
Let's kick it up a notch. What if your nipples only moved by themselves when you were lying?
Oh, that'd be dangerous.
Baby, I don't know who this number is. Circle, 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 circle.
Tracy, what's going on in your head?
Okay, so for a time was taking melatonin to sleep. And it just made me think some weird shit.
Yo, I feel you.
It did. But a lot of these are in my post-melatonin life, so I don't. What if a dolphin... Sorry. What if a dolphin read a site of amazing facts? And one said, like dolphins, humans can identify each other by sight, and the dolphin was shocked. They're just like us.
What? Why are you thinking about a dolphin's point of view?
Why was I thinking about nipples moving when you lie? I do not have answers for you.
I do feel like other mammals in the animal kingdom
Uh-huh.
are like, humans think they're so special.
Right.
Y'all think y'all invented shit.
We masturbate for fun. Guess what? We do too. How about that? You so special. Yeah, I'm a human. Nah. What if our teeth were where our fingernails are, and to chew we had to drum our fingers on top of our food like we're impatient with somebody? You sit at the table. Mom, what's wrong? Nothing. It's just a good ass sandwich. That's all.
That'd be so confusing. The passive aggressive game would have to change.
You would have to restructure your life in so many ways. What if they named the royal baby Duquan?
Kate Middleton comes out, like, presents him like Simba. I bring you Daquan.
Can you imagine the think pieces? The British crown is appropriating black culture.
Oh my goodness. I don't really understand royal baby fever.
Me either.
And I do feel like the people who are struck by that fever could use a Daquan in their lives.
Probably good.
I feel like this is a good idea.
Do they have a suggestion
Like,
box?
they don't know a single child named Daquan.
No.
And they certainly
do not.
don't care for it. So I'm just saying, carry on. I'm sorry for that detour.
Okay, so these next tweets are a series of 4. What if you woke up one day with a face on each of your knees and they had their own personalities?
No.
It gets worse.
No.
And what if the right knee face hated the left knee face, so you had to wear knee pads all the time so they wouldn't fight? I remember this night, actually. These are definite melatonin tweets. What if your knee faces laughed at funerals and everybody glares because they think it's you because they don't know about your knee faces?
Reasonable.
I would be mortified.
Yeah.
Because you can't just be like, no, it's my knee faces. They're like, what? That's not an appropriate time for that conversation at a funeral. That's not right. It's not right.
I don't know when is an appropriate time for that.
Fair. Okay. And the last one in this series. And what if your knee faces spoke in a made up language like The Sims?
Oh my God. That'd be so annoying. Oh my goodness.
This has been a journey through my brain. I don't know. All right, everybody, we are so pumped for our next guest. We wanted to have her on for a lot of different reasons. One being because we sort of fell into having way too many men on the show. It's been a parade of peen, and we did not do it on.
What a horrible
We
phrase.
didn't do it intentionally, so we are rectifying that now. And we also wanted her on because we love introducing you to dope people that you may not know of, and she's definitely somebody who should be on your radar.
Facts.
And she's a joy and a delight, and she's so funny, and she's a brilliant writer and editor at BuzzFeed.com. Please welcome to the show, Miss Bim Adewunmi.
Hello.
Hi, Pumpkin.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. I'm great.
I love listening to you speak. Do you want to just talk for 30 minutes?
That I can do.
Okay, go.
Okay.
So with super dope people that some people may not know, we really love to start with the question, what do you do and why?
I write about everything that is interesting to me, which happens to be a lot of popular culture. So I watch, my eyes are kind of square shaped because I spend a lot of time.
I love that expression.
I watch a lot of screens on a day-to-day basis, and for a huge chunk of my teenagehood, I had very few friends, but I was hugely into Star Trek. So in the grand scheme of life, I think I won, but you know,
Right.
there were some lonely years. That's all I'm going to say.
Same, girl, same. So why do you do what you do?
Because I like it, and people are happy to have me doing it. If I wasn't a writer, I'm sure I would be fine doing literally anything else. Like, this is not, lots of people kind of say, oh, I do this because if I didn't do this, then I couldn't do it. And
Right.
I'm too Nigerian for that. Like, nah, I'd find work. Like, I would find work. I would pay my bills. I'd be very fulfilled.
You'd be fine.
But I do it because people keep letting me do it. And I think that's just wonderful.
Oh, that's such a pretty answer.
I know.
What did you want to be when you were like itty bitty?
A butterfly.
Oh my God. You're ridiculously adorable. Jesus Christ.
You say that, and my parents were just mostly disturbed because my sister, who's my older sister, is she's wonderful. She's my best friend, and she's when she was younger, she was a very focused child, and I think by the time she was 6 years old, she was like, I want to be an engineer. And then they would kind of turn to me and be like, and you, Bim? And I'd say, something pretty. And I'd be like, oh my God, like, why are you such a bad child? But it's fine because everything's fine now. My parents still love us both. My sister is not an engineer, as it turns out. So that's also very good. Like,
is she a butterfly?
She's not a butterfly. Sadly, the technology doesn't exist yet.
That would have been a twist though, right?
Listen, imagine.
So, Bim, you were born in Britain, is that right?
Yes, I was born in London.
Earlier at the top of the show, we had some questions about the royal family, the royal baby, and like the name and stuff. I'll be honest, I don't get it. I mean, I've been nowhere, I know nothing, but like I look at like Britain and like in the whole royal family obsession, and I don't get it. So here's my question.
Sure.
Do you think there will ever be a time in world history where there could be a royal baby named Duquan?
Okay. First of all, Duquan is an excellent name.
Yes,
agreed.
facts.
It is, I think, to my mind, the most kingly name you could name a baby. Mm-hmm. It's just a wonderful name. And I mean this with literally no shade. It's a fantastic name.
Right.
I would hope, I mean, judging by world demographics, there will come a time when the royal family will not look the way it looks today. So there may very well be a baby in the future who will be called Duquan Wales.
Well, hold on. You just blew my mind. The idea that the royal family could one day not be white is not a thing
Why
that
would
I have
that happen?
ever considered.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that will happen.
Really?
I mean, what if the Nula baby marries a black girl?
Yeah, that's a big what if.
What even if Prince Harry just married some Nigerian? Listen, what if he married some Nigerian British girl called Bissy? What is stopping Prince Harry from marrying a Nigerian British girl? Go.
Well, I have a question that may lead to an answer. Is Prince Harry the one that was photographed in like a Nazi like armband?
That's the very one.
Okay, I think that might be a hurdle.
All I'm saying is
Bissy getting into
listen, I'm not okay. I don't approve clearly of wearing a swastika on his person.
Good to know.
All I'll say is this. I've spoken to about, let's say conservatively, about 15 black girls. Yeah, black British girls who I suppose wouldn't say this publicly. Ooh. But, you know, on the Black Girl Network.
What's the tea?
I mean, listen, let me just explain to you that Prince Harry is a very, very, very fine ginger man.
Okay.
What?
And I'm just going to say this, okay? I want no judgment.
This is a safe space.
What is it we say? Don't at me. Let me just say what I know to be true.
Okay. Speak your truth, girl.
Prince Harry is not the ugliest prince we've ever had. That's it.
What a British ass answer.
Okay. Well, wait, though. So in your conversations with these black girls, is it that they also think he's attractive? I thought you were going to say that he likes to dibble and dabble.
Yeah, that's
in
what
a
I was
little bit
waiting
of,
for.
Okay,
What's the tea now?
so you know how sometimes you look at someone and you just think, I think...
Tracy has really good radar.
My radar is on point.
So Tracy understands what I'm talking about. Heben, please.
My radar is off.
Please ascend to our level. But I think Prince Harry gives off a certain vibe. I don't know how to say this without sounding incredibly creepy, but I think that there is a possibility that if I were to smile at Prince Harry, he would smile back.
Right. And that's how it starts.
That's how it starts. That's the beginning of what could be a very different looking royal family.
So Prince
I
Duquan
see your
can happen.
argument.
Yeah.
Okay. What is it like being black in Britain?
Oh, it's a delight.
Please say more. Please elaborate.
I mean, I'm from London, and most of my years in England have been in London. So I think much in the same way many people talk about New York not being quote unquote real America.
Right.
I think London often feels like a bubble for many people. Having said that, I think being black in London, in England, it's joyous. and it has, some side helpings of not so joyous stuff.
So there's this web series by this British Jamaican filmmaker named Cecile Emeke.
Yeah.
The series is called, pardon my horrible French, Flaneur.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Oh my God.
AKA strolling.
Yes.
It's basically, I really like it. It's like a series where you like there are like two women like taking a walk or whatever and just talking about what it's like to be like Black women in any particular space. One of the first episodes is about being Black women in France. And they talk a lot about the dominance of American pop culture and the desire to express a Blackness outside of the African American experience.
Yeah.
Is that something you think about?
Oh, all the time. I'm actually in the middle of writing something about the centering of a global Blackness that is almost always an African American Blackness.
Yeah.
And there are so many other ways to be Black. But I think people forget that America's greatest export is its culture. So it's cultural imperialism in which other Blacknesses are essentially erased to kind of feed into this global Blackness. This one, it's kind of like the one ring. There is one true Blackness, and it's almost always an American Blackness. And I think when you bring that up to many Black Americans, there is a feeling that they are being attacked. And that's,
I hear that. Yeah.
yeah, but
Makes sense.
it's very far from the truth. And I think what we're trying to do is establish that we have an identity that is completely separate whilst being a huge part of this global family of Blackness.
Right.
But Black British people are very different to Black Belgian people, to Black German people. I lived in Germany for a while, a few years back. And I joined a group of Black feminists out there in Berlin, and they.
What do you mean? What kind of group was this? This sounds dope.
It was. They were called. I think they were called Afrofem, and they were basically just. It was just. Many of them were kind of first and second generation Black people. Some of them were mixed race. Some of them had one white German parent and an African parent, or from elsewhere. And some of them were even immigrants from America and elsewhere, now living in Germany. And they kind of said very much the same thing. I think lots of Americans view Europe as this kind of weird utopia because a lot of our police forces do not carry guns. And I think there is this idea that, well, if you're not being shot in the street, then I don't know why you're complaining. Yeah. So I think there was a time after the shootings of, several high-profile shootings of Black people in the US, and you would hear people talking on Twitter or on Tumblr, kind of saying stuff like, "Oh, well, in the UK, police officers don't carry guns, and they haven't killed a Black person in blah blah blah." And I remember kind of having conversations with so many Black British people on Twitter and elsewhere, just kind of like they just don't get it. Like it's completely. Yes, our police officers do not carry guns as a matter of course. But there are many ways to kill a person, and there are many other places that the people who are picking up these statistics are not looking. So, in terms of mental health discrimination, receiving care, in terms of deaths in custody, which isn't necessarily going to come from the end of a gun, bodies, people dying whilst in police custody, the treatment meted out to people who are Black and other non-white races in the UK. In terms of access to all sorts of services, there are so many ways to skin a cat. And I think to look at it purely from the position through the lens of gun crime, it does us a disservice. And I think there are times when I've seen conversations between activists in America and in the UK, and there is just this weird refusal to see. It's almost like a willful ignorance when someone is telling you that, let me tell you the ways in which I'm being killed. And you say, no, if it's not a gun, I'm not really interested. And I think there's a lot of anger sometimes when you kind of look at some Black Britons' tweets and they're just kind of like, why can't you understand that our lives are very similar, but they're also very, very different.
That is true. I've been thinking a lot about the monopoly American stories about violence have in the global economy of violence.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, if a Black child is shot in America by a cop, Black people all over the world will hear about it. But if a Black child dies anywhere else, like, there's not that same urgency. There's not. It really points to like how centered the American experience is in all these conversations.
And I think there are reasons for that. I think when we talk about numbers, there are so many more Black Americans. And then we talk about access, and we talk about just the way things are ordered. You know, who do we care about? Who does the media tend to focus on? And a lot of the time it will focus on the American casualties, you know, in global catastrophes. So how much more so if we're going to talk about Blackness? I mean, it stands to reason that it would fall under exactly the same thing, you know, American lives, you know, almost above all others. And it's a very difficult thing, because even though Black people are worse off within the American system, they are still American.
Right.
So
They're
that
still
kind of
privileged.
trumps, no pun intended, the other stuff. I'm so sorry.
no.
I'm sorry.
What do you make of our politics right now?
I think God bless this great nation.
This Trump shit, I have been doing so much research about it because I still just don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the conversations about the current American presidential run like in London?
Well,
Like, are they just like pointing and laughing at us like, look at these fools?
There is a bit of that, but I think there's also just a real genuine fear as well. I think the natural reaction is to just kind of go, lol, America.
Yeah.
There they go again.
I know, it's, back at it again. Damn, America. But I think everyone's kind of wary of appearing as though they are telling America how to run their business. You know, you don't want to be that condescending person going, "Hi, dear America," you know.
Well, actually.
Exactly.
You don't want to be America, is what you're saying.
I never said that.
You're right.
But I think there is a fear of appearing to be, you know, quite paternalistic and poor stupid Americans who don't understand what they're getting themselves into. And I think that does many of the voters a massive disservice. People know a lot of the time, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I think I understand why so many of these so-called Trump supporters kind of take umbrage at John McCain saying, oh, you shouldn't vote for Trump, or Mitt Romney saying that. It's like, well, why? Why should we listen to you? How dare you tell us that our feelings aren't, you know, valid or whatever? And I think it's very seductive. I think if you feel as though your birthright is being taken away from you, you know, you chalk it to rationality. I mean, it might look irrational from the outside, but I think when you are in it, and this is, you know, Trump, he's not an exclusively American issue. I mean, you look at the rise of the far-right party in the UK, the BNP, or even elements of UKIP. Donald Trump is not the first, and he won't be the last. I think there is a lot of mileage in being some kind of weird, hugely accepted demagogue. Like, you're allowed to be that. You can do that. That, I think, is the more terrifying thing, that he's not an isolated case. He doesn't exist just in America.
Right.
It's all over the world. It's in the UK. But again, we hear about Trump because it's America.
So we're all doomed, basically.
I mean, listen, we've had a good run. We can just burn the whole thing down.
Fucked a lot of shit up.
Panic sex time. Just get it. Just do it. Just get out your list. That's it. With your last 20 days.
That's it.
So the poet Toy Derrycoat has quoted Toni Morrison in saying, all writers eventually realize that all their writing is about longing for the ancestors. Ooh. Does this resonate with you?
Oh.
Yes and no. There was something that Junot Diaz said when he was speaking, I think it was at the New York Public Library, and I listened to it in podcast form. And he was saying something about writers sometimes imagining themselves as representatives of their people. And sometimes just having to let that go. And I think a lot of the time when I first started writing stuff, I remember kind of rationalizing writing about certain things and saying, well, if I don't write it, who will?
Like what?
Mostly Black stuff. You know, when you get an email from an editor and they go, hi. So this, and that's always the tone. Like,
you can always hear that
you
tone.
can hear that tone. And it's written, but you can see them kind of hunching their shoulders and going, hey, hi.
It's so transparent.
Right? And it's like, so I saw this thing and I found it fascinating. And I thought to myself, hang on, you're Nigerian British. Haven't you got some thoughts on this? And then you have to kind of think to yourself, again, so I think about my other commissions and rent and bills.
Word.
Yes, I'll do it. And there are other times when the money doesn't even come into it and you just think, you know what, I do want to write about this, or if I didn't write this, who, you have to think about the other writers on that list. Who will they go to next if I say no?
Word.
And will I be irritated as fuck the next day
Yes,
to find
probably.
this? There are times when I've been asked to go and do some stuff on radio and I go, I can't do it either because I don't want to or because I genuinely can't. And then I hear the person who kind of has taken my place and I go, that idiot, no. And it's a difficult thing. So I think, I think it's impossible, especially if you are a black writer or a writer of another ethnic minority in the country that you are writing. I think it's very difficult for you to escape the feeling that you are writing for, quote unquote, your people. And that's a blessing and a curse because you are one person and it's very difficult for you to kind of encapsulate all the things, which is why the answer kind of lies in having more than one black person that you call on. That thing about like every single time somebody dies, it's kind of like, oh, okay, so someone's just got shot, so let's bring up our roster of people who write about when black people die. So you end up having this weird beat. Cord Jefferson wrote this great piece on Medium a few years back, I think, about the racism beats. Like I give it to every young black writer I speak to who I mean, I've become quite obnoxious with it, and I like really unsolicited, I'm like, oh, I'm glad you asked. Here's a piece. And you can see
them do it for the children.
And you can see them kind of looking at me like, that's literally not what I asked you. But I think, I get emails from, young journalists and I try my best to reply and I don't often, sometimes I don't and I apologize. But they kind of say, well, I'm worried that I'll get into this, this ghetto of writing just about black things.
Right.
And a part of me is kind of like, well, sometimes that's something you have to do. But a lot of the time too, I just kind of tell them, just say no. Like if it's psychically going to bother you, then don't do it. Like it's not worth it. Everything that not everything, but almost everything that I ever wrote on that black beat, I thought, I want to write this, which I think is the only question to ask yourself. There is a lot of talk about what you should do for, for yourself and for your people and all that jazz. And I think that's really valid and it's worth your time. You should think about that a lot. Something I read ages ago about people having a to-do list, but also an I don't list, which...
Yo, that's fire.
That's not even mine. That was somebody on the internet. And I was like, thank you, internet lady. But that works. Like, this is what I do and this is what I won't do. And I think that I don't list has kind of helped me just kind of take a step back and say, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, man.
That's really good.
All right, we're going to take a short break to get some refills and hear from our sponsor. And when we get back, we're going to play a fun game with Bim.
More drags.
Yay.
Support for Another Round comes from August, a new kind of consulting company that's starting a revolution in the way organizations work, from helping leaders embrace change to building work cultures where people act like people and not business robots. Which brings us to a little thing we like to call the corporate jargon drinking game. The rules are simple. I'll present Tracy with a particularly weird or stupid piece of office jargon, and she'll have to guess what it means. If she loses, she drinks. All right, Tracy, you ready for this?
Born ready.
The piece of office jargon you must translate today is FUBAR.
All right, let's break this down. FOMO is fear of missing out.
Okay.
FUBU means for us by us.
You're just listing acronyms.
Froyo is short for frozen yogurt. Ergo, and furthermore.
All right.
I have no idea what this means. FUBAR?
It means fucked up beyond all repair.
What?
AKA out of working order, seriously, perhaps irreparably damaged.
Well, okay. It's time to drink. Nobody knows. Nobody says FUBAR. I'm going on the record.
If you're passionate about revolutionizing the way companies operate and love to geek out about things like the future of work and what makes teams awesome, get in touch with August, a consulting firm for the 21st century. Learn more at aug.co/anotherround. That's aug.co/anotherround. So in addition to your incredible writing and thinking and stuff, you're also, and stuff, my bad. You're also what I would like to call thirst queen.
Ooh.
Please meet Bim, our thirst correspondent.
We mean this as a compliment.
Like,
Okay, good.
Definitely.
your Twitter is such a joy because you introduce me to people I should be thirsting over.
Listen, I just feel like there's an abundance. I do a lot of thirsting on Twitter because I think there is something to be said for female desire.
Yes,
And
go
female
off.
desire expressed. I think there's never been a shortage of desiring people. We're just saying it. And I don't even mean necessarily like being lascivious or trying to, I'm not trying to make anyone
Appreciating
uncomfortable.
beauty in the world.
Just understanding that Jesse Williams' face is symmetrically perfect.
You know what? I'm
We
really
are
glad
so
you brought
glad that
that
you
up.
said this. So normally this is the part of the interview where we do pew, 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 pew. And I have to explain that these are finger guns and it's a noise sound because it's a rapid fire
You don't have to
question
explain,
segment. But I don't have to
Tracy.
do it this time. So instead of pew, pew, pew this interview, we're going to do something especially for you as our new thirst correspondent. And we are going to play a game of Fuck, Marry, Kill. You may be familiar.
I can't kill anyone. I fancy everyone.
We can change kill to like maim.
Mutilate.
Is
Okay,
maiming
that's fine.
better?
I
Fuck,
can
marry, maim.
Mame?
Yeah.
I mean, they'll still be alive.
Wow.
You
It's
just
a compromise.
adjust.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's
Mame.
cool. It's
Fuck,
cool.
marry, mame. That's what we're doing.
So, in the spirit of both Women's History Month, yes, and in the spirit of clearing out the stewed from all the men who have come through, we're going to objectify men for a little while.
Wonderful.
No better person to do that with than you.
I appreciate you appreciating me.
So we're going to do 3 rounds of Fuck, Marry, Maim. Each round will have a theme. Would you like to pick the first theme, Fair Heaven?
All right, so our first is the woke man edition.
Oh, God damn it.
You have your Jesse Williams of Grey's Anatomy fame. You have Matt McGorry of
Orange is
the New Black.
And-
He's Die as Boo.
And Instagram. He just be going off on Instagram.
Instagram thirst chat.
Yeah.
And Terry Crews from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
3 very woke men.
Do you know what? That's not as hard as I thought it would be.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I'm
break it down.
listening.
Okay, well, straight up, I would maim Matt McGorry.
Okay. I kind of saw this coming, but why? Why are you going to maim
A friend
Matt
of
McGorry?
mine called him the thirstiest ally.
Yeah.
His Instagram is pictures of like him shirtless with a
Holding
book
like a
of
copy
like
of,
the
like-
new Jim Crow
Yeah.
by Michelle Alexander.
Like, it's just like he's the guy who comes up to you and kind of goes, "Hello, newbie," and you're like, "Fuck, just fuck off." Like,
He's so cute though.
I know.
but can you imagine that? I can imagine that cuteness just grating on me, just kind of like, I get it. Like, I imagine I would introduce him to my mother, and he would turn up in a buba and shokoto, like Yoruba. He'd turn
Like, I
up.
get you.
And
I
then
get you.
he'd be like, "Bim, I want you to know that I understand that you're Nigerian, and
And I accept
yeah,
it.
you're proud of your heritage, and so am I, boo." And I would and that would make me just punch him in the windpipe,
Right.
straight up. Just
Can you
throat
stop
punch.
quoting James Baldwin, please? Can you not?
Do you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine having to tell your boyfriend to shut up about James Baldwin?
Why would you do this to me?
Do you know what I mean? Like,
why would you put me in this position?
Why would you do that to me? If you loved me,
All right,
you would
so
just
what's
shut
your
up.
answer?
So
Okay.
I'd maim him.
Okay.
I would marry Terry Crews.
Really?
Yeah, because he's just.
He's a great feminist.
I feel like he also gives fantastic hugs. That could be the father of your children.
It sure could.
Like, I'd marry him. And Jesse Williams, well, obviously,
Duh.
until both my hips broke. He's so beautiful.
sure
Like,
is.
I was looking at a photo of him on my phone, maybe a few weeks back, and I just found myself grinning at my phone, like I was simple. Like, I was just smiling at my phone, and then I put the phone down, and I just stared into like the middle distance for like 3 minutes, and then I was like, okay, time to brush your teeth and leave the house. Like, anyway,
man.
so Jesse Williams he's very beautiful. He's also obviously incredibly woke, which I'm here for.
Right.
Which helps. Yeah.
I want to bring back simple. That was
Yeah,
like
as an
pre-basic.
insult.
Yeah.
Simple and common.
Yes,
Common is a good one.
Ooh,
right?
that will get you.
Okay, next round. The theme is, and we apologize in advance.
Oh God.
The theme is Republican candidate.
Oh no.
All
Let's see
right.
how far we can get. Let's see.
Oh God.
So naturally, there's Donald Trump,
Oh.
Ted Cruz, and Marco Rubio. If you would like to substitute maim for kill for this one round, we would understand and we'll allow it.
I'm clenched so tight right now. Like every muscle in my body is so tight. I'm deeply, deeply upset. I just
Bim's body is rejecting this question.
I feel a sadness in the well that's inside.
Okay, let's move through this together.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Marco Rubio.
I mean, he's Cuban.
Yeah.
So there'll be good food.
All right.
All right,
Okay.
all
So
right.
are we marrying Marco Rubio?
I mean, I guess. Okay, we'll marry him.
Okay, Mrs.
Oh my
Rubio.
God. I just
let's
imagine
move.
him like trying to talk to you with
What's
his dry ass mouth.
What's that Tumblr thing? Ho, don't do it. Just
Oh, don't do it. You know what?
do
You're
it.
right. Nobody
Oh my
needs this.
gosh. Why is his mouth always so dry?
Oh my
I can just imagine him in you're in a bed together.
I need you both to stop.
Wifey.
I want you to just stop.
He probably makes this
Oh
noise
my
all
God.
the time.
No! Oh God! I'm gonna walk out of here.
No, my God. Tracy, you can't do that.
I can't.
You have to warn us.
Am I wrong though?
You are not wrong.
Not wrong.
All right, we
Okay.
got through one of them.
All right.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So him.
Ted Cruz.
Oh God. And then. Oh fuck! I didn't even think this through. No. Okay. No. Take it back.
Okay.
So what I'll do is instead I will. Oh shit.
You gotta marry one of them.
So I guess I'll marry Ted Cruz,
Okay.
and then it could be a sexless marriage.
Fair.
Sure. Those
And
are
then-
We can get you a side piece. It's fine.
This is it. So I guess the side piece in this case would have to be Marco Rubio. Don't make that sound again. Don't. And I think I would be left with no choice but to maim Donald Trump.
You know what?
Those are the parameters of this game. So there we go.
I admire you so much because not only did you do that, I just would not have done it.
Yeah.
But you did it sober. Bim is not drinking with us right now, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm really excited for this next one.
Okay.
White Bays edition. In one corner of this triangle
Yeah.
is Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, the bayest of the bays.
He sure is.
A very formative crush in my life.
Yes.
In another corner of this triangle, we have a one Stephen Colbert.
Okay.
You know how we feel about him.
Strongly. Yeah.
And then we have Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, okay.
Crush
Okay.
of every young girl's dreams from a long time ago.
Can I tell
Yeah.
you something about Leonardo DiCaprio? I had a poster of him when I was growing up. And I tried to put it on the ceiling, but it was too far.
Oh,
So
your little arms.
I wanted to look, and I have very long arms. So it was a very high ceiling. So I couldn't put it there. So I put it on the back of my door. And for months, I just kind of used to look at it and just smile at him. Yeah, I was a very cute teenager. And then one night before I went to sleep, I just thought, you know what? No one needs to know this. And I kissed that poster for the first time. Don't laugh. This is
Was this your first kiss?
It wasn't my first. It wasn't necessarily like. I mean, maybe it was my third. Anyway,
Okay. But was it the best though?
easily?
Easily. I'm not mad.
And I remember
No one's mad.
because back then I only wore Vaseline on my lips.
Right.
So it was.
Leo just shining bright like a diamond on the back of the wall.
So I kissed him, and then there was like a very obvious lips, like, and I worried that my mom was gonna see it, so I wiped it off.
Oh my God.
And did it just smear
It
everywhere?
did. It did. Then
This is a disaster.
At the end of it, the whole poster was just glossy with like my Vaseline lips. It was
Water on a grease fire.
Listen, it was horrible. Anyway, I've had a lifetime of loving Leonardo DiCaprio. I have strong feelings. Okay, so damn it, I think I would have to maim Steven. I'm just saying.
Oh my
Bim,
God.
thank you for joining us. This interview is over.
Jesus.
Like,
Christ.
off my
no. Like
microphone.
before the maiming, like we'd have a great conversation. He'd make me laugh,
And then he'd be like, what the fuck?
and then I'd lean in and just whisper, "Time to die," and it'd be fine because we'd have connected before that.
Right.
So that's him. But I love Stephen
Spoken
Colbert.
like a
obviously.
true killer.
I'm British, okay? We're a brutal people. It's fine.
Facts. Colonialism, am I right?
So I would marry Leo because I feel like I could be the person to solve, his problem
What, yeah,
of
what's going
modelizing.
on?
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
I do know what you mean. I've thought about this.
like she's like, how old was his last girlfriend? Like 21?
She's the baby.
So I would have to, I think I would marry Leo.
Okay.
And then, of course, that leaves me with Jeff Goldblum.
Ooh.
This is not a bad decision. Like,
It is not.
I love him.
You know, I'm very, very late to the Jeff Goldblum party, but I
Same,
get it.
same.
I'm like within the last year. I was
No.
like, okay.
Did you not watch Jurassic Park when you were a child?
I did. And you know what? I had a very intense crush on him because I went through a period in my life, right? It's a safe space. I feel like I can say it.
Sure.
Where I was intensely attracted to white men who had black love interests.
I am
makes
literally writing about this right now because it's
can't wait.
it's a genuine thing. Like,
Yeah.
Does anyone watch The Walking Dead?
I used to. I'm like 2 seasons out.
There is like this couple that people have wanted to happen for a very long time.
I was not one of those people, for the record.
I remember talking to my friend and I was like, okay, first of all, let me tell you something. This is not the first black love interest this dude has had. Like, I track this shit. I feel like that I'm in an incident room in the police station and I can
Filing
track
another report.
yeah, basically, and I can just point and be like, well, in 2014,
you got like the little red line.
this is I have like spools of yarn.
Yeah, the serial killer map.
Yes, the serial killer. That's it. I can give you a timeline. Okay. And they were like,
that's so real.
but they were like, this is, and I was like, no. For those of us who have been observers of his career, we can tell you that this is in fact black love interest number 4.
Ooh.
So all I'm saying is, I understand what you're saying,
Okay.
Tracy. So Jeff
Okay.
Goldblum he was a very formative crush. I think I saw Jurassic Park when I was maybe 12.
You know what? What I think fucked up Jeff Goldblum for me is that I saw Jurassic Park before I saw The Fly. And for a long time, when I thought of Jeff Goldblum, I thought of him as a human fly. And I was like, can't. This has been wonderful. You have to come back, if for nothing else, to do Pew 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 because we spent so much time talking about men's and objectifying the men's, which I do not regret.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Before you skate, it's the 80s. What did I just do? What
For
just
you
happened to me?
skedaddle.
Okay, I still say skedaddle in normal conversation. I'm feeling away.
Wow, I'm so sorry.
Where can people find you and your work in the internet?
You can find me on BuzzFeed.com, the website, and you can find. I also do a tiny letter. It's just a collection of random thoughts.
I love it.
I'm instantly in. Yeah.
Right? Okay, it has a horrible name.
I'm listening.
The name is The Fuck Is This?
Incredible.
That's a great name.
Which is how I feel people feel when they get an email like, what? And so I thought, I'm
That's
going to
accurate.
preempt you and name my own newsletter. The fuck is this?
I love it.
So that's what my newsletter is called. My Twitter is Bim Adew, which is BIMADEW.
Yo, Bim, it's so dope to have
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very
Until
much.
next time.
Thank you.
Yay.
Tracy.
Yes.
Oh my God, where are you? Where'd you go?
What? I'm here.
Tracy. It's time for a round.
Yay. Who you been around for?
I am buying around for something near and dear to my heart.
What's that?
Bread.
I love bread.
I love bread.
It's so good.
Okay, first of all, I want to talk about bread bowls. So some genius was like, what if we just made a bowl of bread?
Right. And put stuff in it.
And I really think that's like one of the most clever inventions of all humanity.
Do they only put soup in bread bowls?
I have been not to enough bread bowl situations in my life, but it is a soup thing frequently.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating because the bread bowl contains multitudes. How dare you scapegoat it to soup only?
Ooh, what if they put like pasta in bread bowls?
Ooh, or like a lamb curry situation.
Right. Like a meat.
Yeah.
Like a meat
Anyways,
sausage
there's so
situation.
many possibilities. But just all bread in general. You know I love me some croissants.
I know. Is the croissant your favorite form of bread?
I do think it's in competition with the biscuit. That's hard to beat, the layers. But a croissant has layers too.
Yeah. Literally.
You see how I'm torn.
I see. I do see.
It really is that simple. I can't believe there are people out there who are gluten intolerant who don't get the joy of bread.
That's
I'm
sad.
so sorry.
We should buy a round for them,
sorry.
too.
Yes, this round's for you.
Oh, I'm supposed to not be eating bread during the week.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, me too. You said
Why?
I'm sorry. Because it's not great for you. I'm trying to like live better. I've convinced myself that I have diabetes.
Okay.
Whether or not I do,
There's a lot in there we
who
have to talk
knows?
about.
I know.
All right, Tracy, who are you buying around for?
I'm buying around for gospel music.
Okay.
I love gospel music with all of my heart and soul. I was raised in church. I went to church probably until I went off to college, and I read a book and I was like, wait, all that stuff doesn't make any sense at all. But the only thing I had an emotional response to in church was the music. And I stopped going to church when I was 18. And so that was back before like Kirk Franklin was like rapping on the track.
Popping.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. I'm
talking about like Mighty Clouds of Joy. I'm talking about like the Mississippi Mass Choir, like old school gospel. And some newer stuff too. Like I've been listening to Kirk Franklin a lot.
I know nothing about
Both
gospel except Kirk Franklin and Mary Mary.
So glad that you mentioned those two. So I have a playlist called Get Your Jesus On. I'm happy to share it. And it's just like a collection of like very random songs, like popular gospel songs, I'll say. So not so much like the big choirs that I grew up with when I was like 5-6 years old, but like early Kirk Franklin, early-ish Mary Mary, Donnie McClurkin. But when it comes to like inspirational music, you really can't get any better than like gospel music. And I think it's a very sobering indictment of a white culture when you think about the way that gospel music functions as an inspirational source to an oppressed people. Because like spirituals, Negro spirituals, and like early gospel, it's all about life is hard, but it's okay because I'm going to die one day. Yeah. Like, can you imagine a life so terrible that your inspirational songs are
about death?
About death. One glad morning when this life is over, I'm going to fly away. Like, how fucked up must your situation be? But I mean, I guess the good part of it, if there is good, is that like that message is one that applies to like literally any trial that you're going through. Like, I had a tough day, but I got through it. Thank God. And by God, like, thank whom or whatever.
Thank secular God.
Right. Thanks to whatever force like brought me
to
this point. Mary Mary has a song called Yesterday. And whenever I feel like I've just survived something, I put on that song and it's just...
I had enough heartache and enough headache. I've had so many ups and downs.
I've never been to a Black American church. I've only been to Ethiopian churches. But the choir seems so lit.
Choirs be so
I love
lit,
that there are these memes like going to a white church versus going to a black church, and it'll be like a stadium full of people because they have in the stadium.
The super churches. I don't trust super churches. That's
another story. Listen,
a whole nother time.
But they'd be like, "My God is an awesome
God,"
and then the black choir
they were like, "My God is an awesome God. He raised from
Hey,
heaven above
hey.
with stuff
It
down
just seems fun.
It's fun. It's fun. And I mean, I think it says a lot in like, I've only been to a Catholic church twice, and it was the most depressing thing I've ever done in my life. First of all, there was
no shade to Catholics.
No shade to Catholics at all. This religion shit got everybody fucked up. But there was like this huge like fixture of a dying Jesus right above my head, right? And the whole thing was about Jesus died and suffered and bled, and then he died for us. Then he did. You know, and like black gospel music, when they're not like celebrating the end of this horrible life, is like celebrating like the goodness of God and like being alive and being happy and being provided for. And it just feels good, man. I love it.
That's beautiful, Trace.
So shout out to gospel music. Shout out to Kirk Franklin, Donnie McClurkin before he got terrible, made some really, really great music.
Shout out to Black Americans who were enslaved and then made something incredibly beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus.
I know.
You're welcome, America.
I'll share my playlist in the newsletter.
Yes.
Which hopefully you signed up for.
See, I decided that I cried my last tears yesterday.
Tracy, we made it.
Oh my God.
Bim is going to come back like every episode now.
We should get Bim back.
Bim
like
is the
tomorrow.
best. Yes.
We don't have a recording schedule, but we should schedule one just to get Bim back.
So you guys can look forward to Bim, our regular international thirst correspondent. Thanks for stopping by the stewed. We want to give a shout out to the Pod Squad.
Pod Squad. This episode was produced by our pod moms, Eleanor Kagan and Jenna Weiss Berman, with production help from Julia Furlan and Meg Kramer. Thank you to Paul at Argo Studios. Thank you to our in-house musicians, Jean Gray. You can follow her on Twitter at Jean Greasy. And to Don Will, who recently produced a dope-ass song for John Oliver.
He sure did.
Shout out to the Come Up. You can follow Don Will on Twitter at DONWILL. Thank you to Optimus Prime.
I would not have made it through this week without you.
Good thing is you didn't have to. Ooh, speaking of gospel, there's a song by this man named... Can't think of his name. It's called Never Would Have Made It. Never would have made it.
If it weren't for Tracy.
That's how it goes.
That's the song. Thank you, Trace.
Of course. Thank you. If you have not subscribed to our newsletter, you should do it now. Otherwise, you're going to miss my Get Your Jesus On playlist, which is only like 10 songs. To subscribe, go to BuzzFeed.com/anotherround/newsletter.
You get an Oprah GIF of the week from me and an animal GIF from Tracy. That alone. Come on.
What else do you need?
I have so many Oprah GIFs in my arsenal.
I'm so excited. So excited.
Finally, I can use the many hours of Oprah interviews I watched for something.
Beautiful, beautiful. Also, check out our other BuzzFeed podcasts like The Tell Show and Internet Explorer. They're great. You should subscribe. Hit us on the buzz.
Hey.
Hit us on the buzz.
You can find us on Twitter and Facebook at Another Round. Email us at anotherround@buzzfeed.com. Rate us on iTunes because we are bomb and we need that. Take your meds. Invest in some nice running shoes if you can.
Oh my gosh. And take a really long walk. You know what I did this past weekend?
How all doctors are like, you should walk more.
Yeah. Like, no,
They're
like legit.
right.
They're right. I have started walking to my boozy calorie-filled brunches on the
Ooh,
weekends.
okay.
I walked from Bed-Stuy to Gowanus this weekend.
What is that, like an hour?
I don't know. It was 3.5 miles. But when I got to this place, I was like, I'm eating everything, and I felt so good about it.
Yeah, walk a lot and then have a celebrated brunch with your friends.
You deserve it.
You deserve it.
Good
Ooh,
things.
that's a good note to end on.
Yes.
You deserve it.
See you next time.
Bye.
I just found a really funny one.
Here we go.
What if you moaned during a pap smear?
No. You know what I almost
I actually
did?
worry about that a lot. What?
Queefed.
You said almost. Wait. Were you like holding it like, nope.
You have never seen true fear until you've almost queefed in the face of your gynecologist.